Thank you for attending our final presentation. My name is Carson Rock. I'm an entrepreneurship and accounting junior from Edmond, Oklahoma.
My name is Samantha Wong. I'm an international business and marketing junior from Hong Kong.
Hi, I'm Curtis Dorn, an engineering physics senior from Midwest City, Oklahoma.
And I'm Jared Coker, an economics junior from McKinney, Texas.
Our team leader is Dana Muhammad Zeta, an economics and international studies senior from San Diego, California. Together, we're the Oklahoma Microfinance Fund team. We'd like to give a special thank you to our mentors, Tom Loy and Jacob Reynolds of MetaFund, and also the CCEW staff for all of their help this semester. The Oklahoma Microfinance Fund, or OMF, is a joint venture between the University of Oklahoma and MetaFund, which is a nonprofit venture capital firm located in Oklahoma City. Our mentor, Tom Loy, had a vision for a student-run microfinance organization that catered to unbankable entrepreneurs throughout the state. Over the past 3 months, we've begun developing that program. We started by benchmarking with other lending institutions around the world to find the best way to structure this program. We've developed an intense training program to prepare our new interns for thoroughly vetting business concepts. And we've also developed a marketing strategy that will allow us to fill our pipeline with highly qualified applicants. Let's take a look at how Mr. Loy's idea became a working organization. It began by recognizing the importance of microenterprise in America. 88% of firms across our country are considered micro businesses, meaning that they have 4 employees or less. In the last year, more people have made the move towards entrepreneurship than any other time in the past 15 years. So we can expect that 88% will continue to increase. The real impact of microenterprise can be seen in the Association for Enterprise Opportunities 1 in 3 campaign. This is based around the statistic that if just 1 out of every 3 microenterprises in the United States would hire a single employee, our nation would be operating at full employment. Now it's obvious that microenterprise has a potential for great impact in our country. Let's look at one business that is having that impact. Infamous Metalworks is a metal fabrication company in the Bay Area of California. They're owned by Joey here. Joey recognized that his company needed a $10,000 loan so they could expand to meet its full potential. He turned to his local bank so that he could get this loan. Unfortunately, due to his lack of business experience and also his unbankable financial situation, Joey was unable to receive this loan from his local bank. Fortunately, he found the Opportunity Fund. The Opportunity Fund specializes in lending to underbanked micro-entrepreneurs in the California Bay Area. As a result of this loan, Joey has been able to continue operation for 4 years in total and has created 2 new jobs. Unfortunately, many entrepreneurs struggle to find funding just like Joey did. Let's take a look at why this happens. This is due in part to their lack of business preparation and also to their unbankable financial situation. Their lack of business preparation is exhibited in their incomplete business plans and also their unpolished loan applications. These lead to them being unable to persuade lenders of their business's viability. Their unbankable financial situation is a product of their ineligible credit history and also their insufficient collateral. These 2 things lead them to be unable to qualify for loans. Fortunately, the OMF organization is a solution to this problem. We will address both their incomplete business preparation and their unbankable financial situation. The first will be addressed through the creation of a funding accelerator, and their unbankable financial situation will be addressed through the creation of a student-run fund. This funding accelerator will be comprised of one-on-one assistance, where interns will work hand-in-hand with entrepreneurs to provide them with the assistance necessary of the lending process. We will educate them on the things that go on and the necessary documents to compile so that they will have the best chance at receiving funding. Our student-run microfinance fund will use a venture capital-like structure. This will enable us to lend to higher-risk individuals that still have great business ideas. We will leverage our strategic partnership with MetaFund and take advantage of their 12 years of lending experience in this unbankable market to be able to ensure our success. Now that you know what OMF does, let's look at the market need for such an organization. In Oklahoma, there are 354,000 businesses across our state. 312,000 of them, or 88%, are considered micro businesses, once again meaning they have 4 employees or less. Of these, 122,000 of them have expressed that they lack the access to capital necessary to start or expand these businesses. On average, this is a loan size of $12,500. This need is not just in one place. It can be seen from the Panhandle all the way to southeastern Oklahoma. There are micro businesses all across the state that need access to capital. Now that you know what OMF is and the market need that it serves, Sam's going to tell you about how our organization will work.
Thank you, Carson. As Carson mentioned, there are many entrepreneurs in Oklahoma that needs help. And although my voice is not in the best stage tonight, but I'm still very excited to tell you how OMF can serve their needs. So now, microenterprise with business preparation problem, they will come to our OMF funding accelerator. We will then assign interns to work closely with them through a training session to help them to develop their business plan, revise their documents, and provide assistance they need for their businesses. By the end of this training session, we'll have a polished application ready to submit to our funding partner, MetaFund. With this furnished application, it allows MetaFund to easily carry out the due diligence process and write their credit memos. As our interns start to accumulate portfolio management and business evaluation skills, we'll ultimately develop our own OMF student fund. Now, a portion of our application would directly submit to our student fund. Our interns will do the due diligence process, write a credit memo, and make the loan approval decision with the help of the board of advisors. Well, another portion of the application will still be submitted to MetaFund and other lenders. In order for OMF to be successful, infrastructure is vital. Firstly, we have to reach out to all the entrepreneurs in Oklahoma. So far, we have emailed every Chamber of Commerce and Small Businesses SBDC in Oklahoma. We contacted 16 banks, 26 branches, and 3 universities. We also developed other materials such as our own OMF website and our own OMF flyers to promote our programs. Now, when clients approach us, we want our funding accelerator to be able to provide the best services to them. In order to do so, we'll provide an intensive training program for our new interns to equip them with these skills. In addition, we developed an effective system to oversee our pipeline and other standardized documentation to maintain the consistency and quality of our services. As we progress to our student fund, still we will continue providing training for our interns. In addition, we will maintain a clear division between our student-run fund and funding accelerator. We also will work very closely with our board of advisors through the funding process. After we approve the loan, we will maintain a frequent follow-up with our clients. So far, we have developed a part of our infrastructure, and in the coming semester, we will continue constructing the rest of them to make sure we provide a solid foundation for OMF to become a sustainable and independent organization. The success of OMF provides a lot of values to all of our stakeholders. For microenterprise, now they can receive personal assistance from our interns. With this close working relationship, it provides great flexibility too. For example, entrepreneurs can arrange an appointment according to their own schedule and ask our interns any question at any time they need. Most importantly, a polished application will be ready by the end of the training session. And with the quality of this application, it can increase the chance to get funding. This quality of application can increase the due diligence efficiency of MetaFund and allow them to increase their funding likelihood too. With all the new clients OMF introduced to MetaFund, they can benefit from an extension of pipeline. As for our university, now students will have valuable opportunity to gain commercial experiences in working with real entrepreneurs. For example, our team this semester, we get to work with many entrepreneurs from different industries, and it is a great opportunity that we cannot get from classroom. In addition, OMF will become the source of funding for a lot of student entrepreneurs at the university, as well as OU intellectual property that is developed by the Office of Technology Development. Now that we have seen the operation of OMF and the values it brings, Curtis will tell you about OMF in the marketplace as compared with other players.
Thank you, Sam. When we look at the market for microfinance, for micro entrepreneurs, there are many players, and they all have one unifying theme. None of them are self-sustaining. This means that the revenues generated from the loans that they give out are not enough for them to continue operation. Instead, new money must be brought into the funds. To evaluate why this is and see that the services that are currently being provided, let's take a look at who's currently servicing Oklahoma's microenterprises. Right now, there are 3 organizations. This includes Axion USA, which is the largest microfinance organization in the United States, Tulsa Economic Development Corporation, and Rural Enterprises Incorporated. All 3 of these organizations use full-time staffing, and they do not provide a specific loan preparation program to assist entrepreneurs from going from the idea phase to a polished loan application. Because they use full-time staffing, there's a high overhead cost related with reviewing the loans, and this is further compounded by the fact that they don't provide specific loan preparation programs, so the loan applications take even more time to review. They all have funding partners, and they do not have post-loan management partners. And their loan terms are all interest-based, ranging anywhere from 8% to 16%. And they have quite a bit of experience at this. REI is the oldest organization, which has been operating for 28 years. To address this overhead problem related to reviewing loans, student microfinance has identified as a potential solution. This is because properly trained students will be able to review loans in a cost-effective manner. While there is no currently operating student-run microfinance fund in Oklahoma, there is the Capital Good Fund associated with Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. It has a mixture of students and full-time staffing and provides a specific loan preparation program. While they do have funding partners, they do not have any post-loan management partners, and this leads to a problem of throughput. The Capital Good Fund is only able to handle a few loans per year, and it is not enough for them to maintain sustainability. And they are, again, interest-based entirely, operating at 15% a year. And finally, they've been operating for 3 years. OMF, on the other hand, will be entirely staffed by students. We'll have a loan preparation program through our funding accelerator. MetaFund will serve both as a funding partner and a post-loan management partner. And we will have not only interest available to us, but we will also be able to use revenue sharing and venture debt as forms of loan terms. And although we've been in existence for less than a year, we'll be utilizing MetaFund's 12 years of experience in lending to unbankable entrepreneurs. From this, we can see OMF structure provides 3 unique benefits. Our student interns and funding accelerator will allow us to obtain the low overhead necessary to remain sustainable, while our post-loan management partners will give us scalability to reach the largest number of micro enterprises possible. And finally, our diverse loan structures will allow us to fund higher risk loans that an interest-only model wouldn't normally allow. To evaluate why this is, let's take a look at the funding options available at OMF versus the risk profile. At the bottom here, there's interest. Interest has the disadvantages that there is a limited maximum interest rate you can charge. And because of this, you compensate for additional risk through collateral, which oftentimes micro enterprises do not have. OMF is able to solve this problem through the use of revenue sharing. Revenue sharing is a system where OMF will take a % of the company's revenues in lieu of a traditional interest payment, and we will also have a smaller interest payment on top of this revenue. And as we go to higher risk, OMF can then use venture debt. The first one of these is leasing. It's quite common that the proceeds of a loan for a company are used to purchase a piece of equipment, and that equipment is used as collateral on the loan. But under the leasing agreement, OMF would directly purchase the equipment and lease it back to the entrepreneur. This has the advantage that if the entrepreneur was to default on the loan, there's no cost to repossession, and this is vitally important on the small principal microloans. And finally, we have the use of warrants. Warrants allow us to compensate through added risk by having a right to invest at later rounds of funding, or we can create equity, or we can create collateral through equity in their company. In case of a default, OMF will be able to purchase equity. These 4 tools will enable OMF to reach higher risk individuals, and Jared's now going to show you how that will enable OMF to be self-sustaining.
Thanks, Curtis. So as Curtis alluded to, by using these unique loan structures, OMF actually has the potential to be the first self-sustaining microfinance fund in the United States. We think that's a really exciting opportunity. So let's take a closer look at how we can do this. The way we interpret this chart is that it's quarterly cash flows for the next 5 years projected out. The blue bar in the middle is our net cash flow for each quarter. The red bar below is our outgoing cash flow, both in costs and in outgoing loans. And the green is our incoming cash. The dark green is the principal and interest on these loans, and the lighter green is the revenue sharing. This model is built on assumptions that we've created through benchmarking with other microfinance institutions from our research and from our MetaFund's own experience. These include a $10,000 to $15,000 loan on average, a 9% interest rate, which is toward the bottom end of that 8 to 16% spectrum that Curtis just described, a 2% revenue share, and a slightly conservative 85% success rate. I'm going to say it's slightly conservative because when we benchmark to other microfinance institutions, they average a 91% payback rate. So based on these assumptions, we can see that OMF will actually be able to break even in month 16. So after about 1.5 years of operations, from then onward, we'll actually be taking in more revenue from the principal, interest, and revenue sharing from these loans than we'll be giving out. We'll also, at the end of 5 years, have put out $440,000 in loan, and we'll have $790,000 in returns, which means that after 5 years, we'll have a respectable 180% return on investment. Now, when we compare this to traditional venture capital, which after the end of 5 years has approximately a 250% return, we can see that despite the fact that these loans are fairly small and high risk, we still have a respectable return. So now that we've seen how OMF can internally benefit and has the potential to be self-sustaining, let's take a look at how OMF can benefit the economy at large. So under our projections, after our first year, 5 years, OMF will help create over 120 jobs through its loans. This is based on the assumption that the loans will create 2 to 3 jobs each, and once again, we're carrying over this 85% success rate. This 2 to 3 jobs per loan is based on research from microenterprise organizations and from our own experience. For instance, right now at MetaFund, we have an entrepreneur who wants to start a security firm, and he plans on hiring two employees to his firm if he gets the capital required to start up. In addition, we will intentionally screen for applicants who intend on creating jobs. So as you can see, after the first year, we think that OMF will be able to help create 16 jobs. In year 2, we think we'll be able to create 20 jobs. And after the 5 years, even factoring in this 85% success rate, we think we'll be able to create over 120 jobs. And even if we assume that all of these jobs only pay minimum wage, and once again, we'll be screening for applicants who pay higher than this, there will still be a cumulative $4.9 million added to Oklahoma's economy in terms of salaries. So now that we've seen how OMF can benefit Oklahoma's economy at large, let's take a look at how it will develop further. So OMF will develop in 2 phases. The first phase is the funding accelerator, which we've already begun. So far, we've participated in active marketing, which Sam described. We've developed the program for the interface with entrepreneurs, and we've developed the infrastructure necessary to run OMF behind the scenes. So far, we've had 17 prospects as a result from this marketing. We've sent 4 of them to MetaFund, and we have 2 new interns who are going to join the team to continue OMF into the next semester. So after next semester, this time next year, we will be continuing our funding accelerator, but we will also implement the second phase of our program, which is a student-run fund. To do this, we still have some work to do, one of which is to define the infrastructure of OMF, both in terms of legality, in terms of training, as well as management. In addition to this, we still need to seek the initial funding required so we can have a pool of money to lend to a year from now. MetaFund has already expressed some interest in providing at least a proportion of this initial funding. So as you can see, OMF has the potential to have a really big impact on Oklahoma's economy, and it stands to benefit all the stakeholders and parties involved. In addition, it will be able to do so in a self-sustaining way, meaning that OMF will be the first self-sustaining microfinance institution in the United States. With that said, we'd like to thank you once again for coming to our final presentation. We'd now like to open the floor up for questions.